But everybody knows in Oregon, Peter Iredale. If you haven't seen it yet, go down and visit it. It's just right up the beach. It's still cool because this is what it looks like today. It's still there. In fact, I remember going and taking this picture and I'm like, this can't be that old of a ship. It's got all these big metal parts. Didn't it used to have wood and stuff? But that is actually the ship, and I like a little horse-drawn carriage sitting at the base of the ship. Casey, you'll have to pay me for whatever it is you're filming. This is not free. Technology's hard. And now I want to talk about not a coastal town, but the Lafayette Witch. I had a whole bunch of more stuff planned, but I spoke with someone yesterday and I'm like, you know what, I'm done working on my talk. I want to get out and talk to people and meet you all. So one of the difficulties with historical research is you want to be as accurate as possible. You want the best information you can get, and when you're going into a private residence, it may not often give you the information you need historically, so you have to go digging for it. But when you're going into a historically rich location specifically for the haunting, you want as many facts as you can possibly get. A few weeks back, I was on Facebook and I kind of put it out there, you know what, I got the Monday off, I need to go explore something. What should I go check out? Everybody responded, hey, come to my house. You guys probably said, go come up to Chehalis, I don't know. But I came across the Lafayette Witch and I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. I found 3 or 4 websites that talk about the hanging of a witch in Lafayette. Were you giving me a hand signal? Kristen, were you giving me a hand signal? Oh, okay. No. See, they told me to keep this shit clean and then they start pulling this. How am I supposed to work with this? So, I find 3 or 4 websites that talk about the witch. She was accused of being a witch and hung. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is Oregon, this doesn't make any sense. This only happens in Salem or the movies. So I packed up my car, I head on out, I stayed the night in Lafayette, which is kind of tough to find a good spot to stay in Lafayette, so I actually went to the next best town. Got a hotel, woke up the next morning and got started. This is the cemetery where the witch is buried in an unmarked grave. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. I'm gonna get some history out of this. It's creepy. Cemeteries are creepy. They're always haunted, especially when there's one big ass dead tree in the center. That's a dead giveaway it's haunted when there's a dead tree. So, I started doing some research on this. Let me see if I can get my nose. No, that's not it. I'm fascinated by the concept of a witch. And of course, my understanding of a witch in this region is probably just a misunderstanding. Well, it turns out it's all a misunderstanding. A woman was never even hung. Then I'm going, okay, this doesn't even make sense. So I need to figure out what is going on. So I start digging up some newspapers and articles, and I come to find out there was a lady. Another big part of this story that I left out, sorry, see this is what happens when you don't finish your slides and you're like, screw it, it's just the Oregon Ghost Conference. We're not going to invite you back again anyway. Is that she had put a curse on the city that would burn down 3 times. Where the hell that came from, I have no idea. But what had actually happened was, this lady in one article, it had referred to her as a gypsy. A gypsy was usually someone who had a darker skin, ethnic descent. So, somewhere over the years, this gypsy had turned into a witch, when actually her name was just Anna Marple. That was her name. So, her son was responsible for the murder and hung. And it was a gruesome axe murder. He cut this guy up, and there's actually a whole story. There's a great book called Necktie Parties. That's pretty lame, and that's my entertainment, is reading books about every official hanging in the state of Oregon. I've got to be on some government list somewhere. Someone's got to be watching me. So, but he had been involved with a prior murder and was acquitted. But what was interesting is when he was arrested for this axe murder, he said it was a conspiracy and that he had been working with the Masons, a few of the Masons, and that this was all planned and this isn't just him. Well, that turns out not to be the case, and it was just him, They've got documentation of him spilling the beans in jail to another inmate who came out and said, hey, if you don't hang me, I'll tell you all he told me. So you've got all this information documented there, and I didn't even put them on my slideshow, but I've got the actual arrest warrants and court documents showing Marple guilty, the date of his hanging, and apparently that's the point when Anna somehow cursed the town. I don't know where that came from, but again, the town was supposed to burn down 3 times. So when the town burned down the second time, everybody was really excited. They're like, yes, we're almost done with all of this. But I couldn't find any documentation to say that there was even a curse, that I just don't know. And this is why it's fascinating. We come out and we tell these stories, and we're all going to go home from this weekend with a story that someone has told us. I'm sure I have slept 5 or 6 lies to you, not intentionally, just from casual research. But that is one of the reasons I love Oregon and Oregon's history. There are so many things out here that, in fact, it's been reported that Oregon has more ghost towns than any other state. I don't know if that's true. You've got Nevada, which is pretty heavy with the mining towns. But Oregon is a beautiful place. Get out there. I hope to explore more. Katie and I from the Wheeler Hotel have talked about the salmonberry, and Casey have discussed the salmonberry. That's a creepy line. Good books on that one. Anyway, that's all I really have now that my slides weren't completed last night that I wanted to talk to you guys. Does anybody have any questions or want to know anything about me or my crazy mind? Yes? Oh, we got a couple.
What's next?
I have some things planned. And you know what? I didn't even open because I was so flustered with this, but I am now Director of Historical Research with Oregon Paranormal. So I'm actually part of a working paranormal group. We have lots of things planned, and we have planned locations for some historically rich locations, not just private residences and things like that. So there are some, hold on just a second. I do have things planned, some things I can't talk about, but we will be posting more information and coming back to every ghost conference. So, and you had a question.
Oh, you mentioned your first experience at 14. Can you tell us what that was?
Okay, yes.
Show us on the doll.
Show us on the doll.
He said, show me on the doll. I was about 13, 14. I don't know if it was junior high, high school, which one it was at that time. I'm not going to calculate the math right now, but I remember I had a buddy named Adam Goodwin. He invited me over they were going to be playing with a Ouija board that night. And I remember thinking, what a crock of shit. There is no way I'm going to go and play a Ouija board. Now, times change, and my view of a Ouija board is very different now. I believe you're opening yourself up. You're not opening a portal up, you're opening yourself up. It's nothing more than an instrument like a K2 or an EMF detector or an audio. It's just a tool. But back then, I thought it was all just plain bullshit. So I was like, and at one point I said, yeah, fine, I'll go. So I show up at this house, and then we're playing with the Ouija board, and it starts moving. I wasn't playing with it at the time, I was just watching, and I'm like, this is a joke. People are pushing it, someone's moving it, someone's in control, they're manipulating the situation. I don't want to do it, it's dumb. After a while, I said, okay, fine, I'll try it. I put my hand on it. There were probably 4, 5, 6 of us that each had a hand on it. And after a while, the planchette would start moving. It was very broken English. It wasn't complete sentences. And I remember thinking, it's interesting that people can construct these half-assed sentences as they're doing this. And at one point, someone asked it a question and said, it responded with YUX. And we were like, YUX? What does that mean? And somebody said, why you ask? And it went to yes. And the guy said, well, F you, why you ask? And all of a sudden the planchette started to move in a circle. And it got faster and faster and faster, and it kept spinning. And I watched everybody's hand because I noticed everybody at some point was losing the planchette. That doesn't mean we weren't all continuously providing to the energy of moving this thing unconsciously. But it spun in a circle, it shot straight up to the top and down. The second the planchette left the board, the light behind us, the light in the hallway, and the light in the kitchen dining room area blew their circuit. I had the hugest rush of burning adrenaline go through me, and everybody was screaming. And the next day I went and bought a Ouija board. So that's what started it all. We actually had to break into the electric box, the circuit box outside. There was one of those little luggage locks on it. We had to break it open, get in, and flip the circuits back on. So, was it paranormal? I don't know. Was it a collective energy of a bunch of freaking teenagers in a room believing they're talking to dead people that might have spiked something? Possibly. That's why I do what I do now, is trying to see if we can get any closer to revealing clues that might lead me back to that. So, did you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to your ghost mine.
Yeah.
How did you actually get started in that? If I'm not mistaken, weren't you like a computer guru?
Yeah, I'm not a guru of anything, pal. No, I didn't have a talent agency. No, I'm still a web developer. I work for an ad agency in town. I make web pages all day. I'm a nerd. I freaking look at code all day. I love it. But at the time, again, pre-show, I owned my own business. I was bored with life and working 12-hour days, and this is miserable. Do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? No, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut, but I can't do that. What should I do? And I was kind of shutting down my business, not taking on new clients, and a friend had introduced me to the mine owners. And he was saying, yeah, he's looking for a couple greenhorns, and I immediately went, I'll do it. I'm in. When I met the mine owner, in fact, I met Jamal before I met the mine owner, and Jamal, it's funny, I hate stereotypes, but I'm sorry, I really expected Jamal to be this really big guy. Jamal's like this little tiny white guy about yay tall. He's really squirrely. He's out of control. Jamal is a wonderful, wonderful guy. But I met Jamal beforehand, and I was like, oh, I gotta work with this guy? I don't know. This is gonna be weird. But anyway, they took us on as the greenhorn miners. When we got up there, we knew nothing of mining. I've never even panned in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. My single greatest fear up there is that they would deem me useless. And they would go, this guy is a loser, get him off the mountain. These guys were hard-ass, tough, working people, and I'm the son of a doctor who looks at computer code all day. This is not gonna work out. But I busted my ass. I loved every moment of it. And it was probably one of the single greatest moments of the show when, well, it wasn't even on the show, Stan on riding up the mountain says, you know what, I'm proud of you, you've done an amazing job, and I would not hesitate to hire you. And I said, perfect. So, and I get to blow shit up. Nobody gets to do that legally. Well, yeah, they do, but anyway, it was epic. Any other questions at all? No? Good? Well, oh yes, go for it.
Do you know what's going on with the property these days?
I do not. So I heard, of course, after season 2, there were rumors that he was going to reopen the mine and do a new web show up there, 24/7 surveillance cameras. I have no idea. Actually, she knows. From rumored, but no, they were four-wheeling, happened to stop by. Mine's still shut, still closed. I have no idea if he still even owns it. I believe the mine owner and his wife are now living in Texas. So I don't even know if that means they still own the property. So, what's that? They do still own it. Okay. So they still own it, but it's just sitting there for now. I couldn't tell if they're talking to me. Sorry guys, I can barely hear you back there. I'll come grab you in a minute, we'll figure that one out. So, but yeah, yes. Oh, yes.
I might be able to, maybe verify that information.
Okay. That sounds good. Any other questions? No? Okay, guys, feel free to come up and talk to me, ask me any questions, let me know what's on your mind. I hope this has been somewhat educational to you and not everything you already knew. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Jay.